Hey aspirants, this is the NEET Pictionary series presented by the Biotree channel, where we'll be discussing about the frequently asked NEET diagrams along with their previous year question. In this session, we'll be looking at the diagram of malarial parasite from the chapter Human Health and Diseases. In this diagram, we need to know which mosquito is infected and which one is not infected. Okay, if we understand that and we follow that sequence, the entire concept is pretty easy. Okay, see here, this mosquito here is an infected mosquito which has the parasite in it. Okay, and this human hand here is that of a healthy human. This hand is that of a healthy human, and this mosquito is an infected mosquito. What happens is, when this mosquito bites a healthy human, the parasite, which is called as the sporozoites, are transferred from the mosquito's mouth to the blood of the healthy human. Okay, now these sporozoites travel to the liver through blood. When the bloodstream passes, these sporozoites move on to the liver. What happens in the liver is that these parasites start reproducing in the liver cells. They reproduce asexually. You should know that they reproduce asexually in the liver cells. And once they have reproduced, these liver cells burst open, releasing the sporozoites into the bloodstream. Okay, these sporozoites are now released into the bloodstream. What happens is, once again these sporozoites start reproducing in the RBC, that is the red blood cells. They once again reproduce asexually only. It is not sexual reproduction, is not seen here, but these sporozoites start reproducing asexually, okay, in the red blood cells. And once they have reproduced, what happens is, once again these red blood cells burst open and release these sporozoites. But here there's a previous year question. That is, when these red blood cells ruptures or burst open, a chemical called as hemozoin is released, which is responsible for the symptoms of malaria. Okay, this question was asked twice or thrice, I am not sure, but it was asked many times, multiple times. The chemical called as the hemozoin is responsible for malarial symptoms, which is due to the rupture of red blood cells. Okay, now these sporozoites are present in the blood. What happens is, now they reach a stage called as the gametocyte. These gametocytes is the place where they are present as gametes, that is the female gamete and the male gamete separately in the red blood cells. Till the rupture of red blood cells, these were present as the sporozoites. But now after sexual reproduction, after the gametocytic stage, these are called the gametocytes. Okay, what happens now is that we have a healthy mosquito here. When this healthy mosquito bites an infected infected human, these gametocytes, that is a male gamete and female gamete, are present separately in the blood of an infected person, right? See here, this infected person's blood is taken by the healthy mosquito. So these gametocytes are transferred to the healthy mosquito, and now this mosquito becomes infected. What happens is, these gametocytes, that is the male and female gametes present separately, fertilizes in the mosquito's gut, and development of this zygote takes place in the mosquito's gut. This was to a previous year question. Okay, takes place in the mosquito's gut. Now this zygote matures into an infective stage, once again called as a sporozoite. Okay, called as a sporozoite, which now migrates from the gut of the mosquito to its salivary gland. These sporozoites are now present in the salivary gland of the infected mosquito, and the story goes on again, that when an infected mosquito bites a healthy human, the sporozoites are transferred. Okay, so we must know that the infective stage of malaria to human beings are called as the sporozoites, whereas the infective stage of malaria for the mosquito is the gametocyte. Okay, and the chemical released during the rupture of red blood cells is called hemozoin. Let us look at some questions. Okay, the first question. The sporozoites that cause infection when female Anopheles mosquito bites a human being are found in. It is found in the salivary glands. Okay, I have discussed this. It is found in the salivary glands. In hepatocytes, we can see the sporozoites. In RBCs of mosquito, we will be looking at the gametocytes, and in RBC of man, we'll be looking at sporozoites. But the stage that infects a human being are found in the salivary glands of infected mosquitoes. Okay. The next question: release of which of the following is responsible for recurrent malarial symptoms? I told you before, it is nothing but the chemical called hemozoin. Okay, it's called as a chemical hemozoin, which is due to the rupture of RBC. Okay, red blood cells. When the red blood cells rupture, the chemical hemozoin is released, which is responsible for the recurrent malarial symptoms. Okay, let us look at the next question. Sexual reproduction of parasite Plasmodium occurs in. Sexual reproduction of parasite occurs in the RBCs. Sexual reproduction occurs in sexual reproduction. The gametocyte stage is present in the human blood. Sexual reproduction, that is, the fertilization takes place in the mosquito's gut. Okay, you must be clear here. It takes place in the mosquito's gut. That is, the sexual reproduction is nothing but the fertilization of the male and female gamete. The male and female gamete as an individual are present in the human blood, but when it is taken up by a healthy mosquito, the fertilization takes place in the mosquito's gut. I told you previously, this was a previous year question. Yeah. Okay, let's look on to the next question. This question is an important question. Okay, because you can see this Gambusia fish in 2 or 3 chapters in 12th biology. This Gambusia is a fish. Okay, which is introduced in the lakes, ponds to feed on mosquito larvae. It is Gambusia is a fish. It is not a mosquito or frog species. It is a fish. Okay, let us look at the next question. In malaria infection, the rupture of RBC is associated with release of a toxic substance. I told you this hemozoin was asked multiple times. So do remember this name, hemozoin. Okay, there are chances of asking it. Next question: which of the following statement is incorrect with respect to malaria? These questions are pretty time consuming when you are writing the exam, but you must be pretty careful looking at each of the sentences properly. Okay, let us look at the first sentence. Malaria is a disease caused by protozoan. Yeah, this protozoan, it is caused by a protozoan called as a Plasmodium. Okay, there are 3 kind of Plasmodium: Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, and Plasmodium malariae, I guess. Yeah. So this is caused by a protozoan. The first one is correct sentence. The malignant malaria is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Yeah, the malignant one is caused by this is the most dangerous malaria causing protozoa, which is the Plasmodium falciparum. The third one: parasites enter the mosquito's body and multiply to form sporozoites that are stored in the stomach of mosquitoes. Parasites enter the mosquito's body and multiply to form that are in this place. These are not stored as sporozoites in the stomach. In the stomach of that is the gut of the mosquito, these are present as gametocytes. But when these gametocytes reaches the sporozoitic stage, these are present in the salivary glands. So the third one is the incorrect statement. Fourth statement: malaria parasite initially multiplies within the liver cell. Yeah, that is the correct statement. So the incorrect statement here is the third one. Let us look at the final question. Okay, that's no question. So we have finished with this session. So do please subscribe to the BioTree channel.